Hi, this is Getting to Know Me, and I'm Johnny Greenwood, not the one from Radiohead, but another talented guitarist.
How
nice
are
to meet
you?
you both. Very good, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Do you want to tell people a bit about yourself?
So I've been a professional guitarist for around 16 years. I studied at BIM first in Bristol. So I was going to go to the Brighton College, but it was full for another year. And then my friend that I'd been at university with that played drums was also joining after he finished his course in Edinburgh. So we ended up going to Bristol together for a year and studying at BIM Bristol, which was a great experience. And then I started doing part-time guitar teaching, which led to a 10-year career as a full-time guitar teacher up until about the COVID kind of period. Now I still do that part-time, and I work on various projects, and I've been a session guitarist on the side for since I've finished at BIM Bristol. So since 2009, 2010, I've been a session guitarist for various acts and sort of learnt studio craft, and now I do my own productions and currently work with a UK hip-hop artist called James Beresford. So his act's called Jamesy and the Roof Raisers. I've done theatre shows here in York and in school productions and things. I play in a power trio that's called the Johnny Greenwood Experience. I play in a cover band called Road Covers, and I also have a original prog metal project of my own that is called Harlequin Forest that we're working on, and I'm doing the production for that. So we're in the process of doing that at the moment.
Extremely busy guy.
Johnny, mate, you're smashing it.
Yeah, hopefully.
You are smashing it.
Yeah, so lots of musical interests on the go.
Yeah.
I like to keep it varied. I also play classical guitar for weddings in the summer as well, and I do a Spanish guitar duo with my friend Matt, so I've got quite a lot of very varied musical tastes, and I try and fit them all in as best as I can.
Yeah. So when you're doing all these different types of music through your guitar, how do you switch the mindset? Like 1 minute you're doing hip hop, then you'll be doing like classical or Spanish. Like, is it easy for you to do those, or do you ever get a little?
It's fairly easy for me to just change. So I had a bit of a mixed relationship with the classical guitar. I had to do the usual quite boring classical guitar primary school lessons when I was a kid, and then immediately when I started secondary school and playing electric was allowed, then I jumped onto that, and then I came back to the classical guitar because I'd sort of got fairly competent with like rock guitar, so I could teach myself all the songs that I liked to play at the time. There was still a bit of a way to go compared to what I am now, but something I liked, a piece called Asturias, and it's quite a fast piece with it's a bit like a rock guitar riff with a kind of pedal note in it.
Wow.
And so it's got a bit of a flamenco edge, so I wanted to learn that, and I started teaching myself classical guitar with a heavy Spanish influence when I was about 17, and then carried on teaching myself at university along with rock guitar and heavy metal things, and broadening my horizons from indie rock and Jimi Hendrix, which is what I played up to then, really. So I found it quite easy to switch between the disciplines. Spent a lot of time spending 5-6 hours a day on both styles, and I've just gradually broadened from styles. So I play all sorts on electric as well, and being able to do finger style and plectrum style then opens up sort of a huge world for me, because I can do both. So I can turn my hand to acoustic finger style quite easily for singer-songwriters, and it feels quite basic for me, and it just works to do a collection of everything. My friend Matt's also the same. We met doing guitar teaching for a thing called Learn to Rock. So he's kind of like my duo guy, and we do a Rodrigo y Gabriela-esque Spanish guitar duo, as well as me doing the traditional classical Spanish stuff for weddings and flamenco. We do that, so we play Tamacun by Rodrigo y Gabriela, and then we do a whole load of rock and pop songs as instrumentals in a kind of Spanish style. And he's the same as me, where he's sort of into heavy metal, indie, classical guitar, all sorts of things, jazz. So we both turn our hand to all sorts, and we sort of play off each other in terms of writing and jamming and stuff.
Wow.
Johnny, I feel like I want to be your best friend.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Is
so,
that a yes or a no?
yeah, go on then.
Sold.
That took some commitment.
You mentioned that you play at weddings. Do you have or is there a song that's like, what's the most requested song at weddings?
They tend to let me do what I want, so I tend to suggest either quite cheesy Cavatina from The Deer Hunter, the John Williams version of that's a good one for down the aisle, and my favourite is a tremolo piece called Recuerdos de la Alhambra, which is Memories of the Alhambra. So it's the Alhambra Palace in Malaga, I believe.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Amazing.
That is quite a famous piece. It sounds like someone's tremolo picking, but it's just these three fingers going ba-dum, 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 and then you play a bass line with your thumb all the way through, and it's technically difficult, but it's slow moving, so the tremolo is fast, but the tempo is quite slow actually. So it's actually quite a romantic piece of music, and it's got like a minor section and then a major section. So it kind of it lifts halfway through as well, so it becomes from sad to happy. So it's quite good for down the aisle, and because there's two sections that you just do a couple of repeats for, and then there's the ending. It's quite easy to extend or shorten it as well. So for down the aisle, that's pretty good. I had a cool wedding in somewhere near Leeds. It's called Rawdon, and it was just in the back garden of a stately home that looked down the valley to the railway line and the river in Rawdon. So it's in Leeds, but it looks quite countryside, and it was in like a gated area, and they had a white owl come and deliver the ring, so that was quite special.
I love that.
Imagine it just.
So, and I think I played Recuerdos de la Alhambra for them before the ring got delivered, and then that was quite cool. And I took a sneaky video on my phone and then sent it to them.
That's cute.
Oh my God, that is so sick.
It's cute. So I was going to ask you, how has your relationship with guitars evolved over the years, like from starting out?
So my dad was big into his 60s and 70s rock, so I grew up with that, and probably from about age 5, I kept pestering my parents for a guitar. So I listened to the Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, the Rolling Stones, the Animals. What else? But I'd also played classical guitar when I was little, and still does a little bit. But he's not quite as accomplished as me. But he started having lessons when I was a young kid, and then there was a cool guy with long hair came to give him lessons as well at our house, and I probably wasn't old enough. I think I asked to maybe have a go, and then they decided I wasn't old enough. But then I kept begging for a guitar until they finally caved when I was about 9, and then did the usual classical guitar lessons. I think I've said that already, for like primary school lessons. But really I was wanting to learn all my dad's 60s and 70s music, and he taught me a few things as well. So taught me House of the Rising Sun was probably a good one to learn. Taught me how to do sweep picking, ironically. So I learned to do it with a plectrum, and then tried to do it with my fingers as well. Mainly to rock, and loved Manic Street Preachers and Oasis and all that kind of stuff, and the Seahorses, which is another York band, and Shed 7, which are back popular again. And one of my friends has done brass section for him at Glastonbury last year, or whenever they played, was it? I think it was last year.
Wow.
So yeah, and then gradually got more technical. Obviously loved Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, all that kind of stuff in sixth form, and then wanted to try a bit of finger picking, and then played a song by Creed, One Last Breath I think it was, that my sister liked, and then taught myself finger picking again, and then gradually got into classical guitar, and then carried on teaching myself that and all the heavy metal stuff during university, and probably spent more time on that than my degree. And then after that finished, I went to BIM to basically pick up the accolade, pick up a piece of paper that said I could play. So went and did a year-long course as well that was kind of like a foundation degree level course that was crammed into 1 year, and then started music teaching. And it was when I graduated, it was the recession, 2009, and I'd done brewing and distilling, but there weren't any brewing and distilling industry jobs. So guitar teaching was kind of what I fell into, but I really enjoyed it. and did that for a very long time, and then just gradually eked out musical projects with people around York, and had friends that had studied music and did various session projects and live projects and coaching for schools, for bands, and played like a couple of musicals for one called Wycliffe Mount that was at Cleckheaton. So we did We Will Rock You and we did Starlight Express. So they were my first couple of musicals. And then in 2024, I did The Nativity at the Grand Opera House, York. So a proper theatre session, like pit session, which was good. And then I've just been working on my various musical projects, but really my main two passions are the Spanish guitar and progressive metal type dream theatre type stuff, sort of all the nerdy technical guitar playing things. But I do have a very big musical taste outside of that. Like I say, I still love all my 90s and early 2000s indie, and
I love the 90s.
Yeah,
I love the
so
90s.
strayed a little bit into country music because I've got finger picking skills from the classical guitar as well. So
Yeah.
and
Big
my
on
old
country
tutor from
music.
BIM, he's really good at that, Stuart Ryan. So he does a series of just like doing country licks, and that's on YouTube. That's really good to look at for guitar players. And so
Sick.
learned a little
Would
bit about
you,
country music too, and pedal steel licks and things.
because you obviously teach guitar, what would you say, what generation would you say picks it up the quickest? Because I went to a guitar lesson about probably about 4 months ago, and I was asked not to come back.
Really?
They
You
was
must have
like,
had
it's
the wrong
not for
teacher.
you.
I've
Like,
never told anyone not to come back.
yeah, they didn't even take my money. They was like, it's fine, like, it's all good. Like, just try maybe the triangle.
Yeah, I'd never do that. I think it varies massively between just person to person. So the difficulty for really young kids is squeezing the strings hard enough, whereas the difficulty for adults is often gripping too hard and then not being able to move your fingers quickly. So
Yeah.
I've got basically the same exercise remedies both. Whereas the adults learn to grip like this all their lives and can't separate the fingers, whereas little kids can't grip. So I have various get-arounds for that. So there's you can find like a soft squeezy ball for really young kids and just have them seeing how many squeezes they can get to and count and gradually get them quicker at doing that. They'll probably spend quite a long time not getting very far if they're maybe 6 or 7, but then later that seems to pay off massively. So they might do like what an older kid could do in 1 term in 3 over the course of a year, but then that tiny little bit ahead that they are in terms of age does actually compound over time.
Yeah.
So basically you're saying it's 30 years too late for me.
Oh no, I've got a current student that's about 60. I've had other students that are retirement age up to, I think the oldest one I've taught 70. So I've taught everyone from 5 up to 70.
When you said about Hot Flash coming out and your prog project, or it's all going on and stuff at the minute, where do you see your main?
Oh yes,
Yeah, when we
just broken into doing
yeah,
acting as well. So just being an extra. So I was in a film called Hot Flash.
yeah,
I think it was February or March, and that has Colin Holt and Gaynor Faye as the 2 lead characters, and also Samuel Anderson. So Colin Holt is in Afterlife, Life's Too Short, and Derek, with Ricky Gervais. Gaynor Faye's been in Coronation Street and Emmerdale. And then Samuel Anderson was in History Boys, and he was the agent in Back to Black. So I didn't actually meet Samuel Anderson, so I was just in one scene with Colin and Gaynor, and I said hello, and that was my only line in it. And then we were supposed to stand around and watch Gaynor do a speech that went horribly wrong, and then there was meant to be like a montage scene later. So I'm excited to see what that looks like. We were actually in like a horrible day where it was really dark and overcast, and they had a great big stage light outside the window, and then the blinds were down, so it looked like it was a really sunny day in the office when you see it, a bit like it is today. So, but it was actually dark and miserable on the day. So they did really well to get that effect. And then we redid the same scene, all different angles around the room so they can cut it together. So we just did a very short scene over and over again. It's interesting to see. I'm quite interested in cameras and things, so I've been,
When's it coming out?
I think October. They've just done an announcement today that they've completed editing it and it's going to post-production now. So
Are you going to be going to the premiere?
I don't think so. I was just a lowly extra, so I won't be going to the
Because-
premiere now. I'll probably go and watch it in the cinema in York. I'm assuming it's having.
Well, normally you should take your best friend to like things like that.
Okay.
So,
We
yeah.
can come and visit York and we can go and watch it and do a pub crawl if you like. Sounds good.
That's fine. That sounds so much better.
Yeah, I don't think I'll get an invite for the premiere.
You never know. You never know.
So yeah, so that was my first ever thing, and I played Santa Claus at Christmas as well for a park called Stockwell Park. That was quite fun too. So had to do my Santa voice and grin and bear having a horrible stick-on beard on all day.
Yeah.
So
Can we hear your Santa voice?
Ho ho ho, Jack! What would you like for Christmas?
Yes, Johnny.
I hear there's been lots of Christmas films on at the moment. Have you got any favourites?
Yes.
I think nearly everyone said Home Alone, Christmas Chronicles, and The Grinch.
Yeah, The Grinch is my favourite.
You just got told that over and over again, and then you gave them a teddy bear wrapped up, and then they went on their way smiling. And you had to take some photographs for them, so they had a selfie camera hooked up, and I had a button to press. So I gathered the family round. It was quite good fun. So.
And you're in all those
so good.
forever. Oh, that's cute. So where's your main focus at the minute with all your different projects and stuff that you've got going on? Like, what is your main focus? Yeah, go ahead.
Currently, I've been working most with my friend James Beresford on the project Jamesy and the Roof Raisers. So we've done an album's worth of songs also with music videos to go along. So we've produced it together. He's come up with the kind of basis of the track and had a guide track with synthesizers and drum machine on, and he's turned up at my house and we've gone through what he kind of wants, and we've done I've done bass and guitar for everything, and then we've gone and worked out narratives and done music videos that we've just shot on a phone with a cheap stand from Temu and a few other things. And so we've done gradually getting a bit more ambitious. So the first one we did was just in my garage, and James does DJing, so he had a load of DJ lights. So we set up in my garage that my friend and I have as a home gym. So it's got a weights bench and things in it. It's got my drum kit in. So, and I took my half stack in and then mimed to the song, and then found a boglin, if you remember those from the 90s, like a little goblin thing. That's the first one. So we thought using that as a puppet would be a good fun, so that's in it as well. So really sort of basic cheesy video of us just playing along to the song in the dark with lights on. And then the next one we did was I've got a very convenient place to live, which is right by Easingwold Park. So we just took my amplifier out onto the outside of my house, which is Easingwold Park, and has some like pub bench style things outside. So we just hung around there, and there's a nice view of a field down in the background. So we had a song called UK Rain. I've also got a tiny little Stonehenge type thing around the corner from when they built the estate, like a little feature piece on a tiny mound. So we used that as well. So that's on YouTube. And then some later ones we did were a bit more ambitious, so we decided we're going to do like a Breaking Bad style drug deal thing where James was a drug dealer and gets busted. So he played the drug dealer and I played the cop that busts him. I had by chance someone that came for lessons with me that looked like Mike from Breaking Bad, and he agreed to to play the sort of drug kingpin doing the
I
drug
love
deal, and
that.
he was a retired farmer with a great big warehouse, so we went into his warehouse to do the drug deal. Then we did a little car chase down the lane, and then I arrested James. And then in the next one, we found someone that had a white painted breeze block room that was waiting to be turned into a home gym. It had been a barn, and we landed on our feet with that because he was a lighting guy for ITV, and he'd just come off doing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So when we got there, we took a mattress to look like a bed, and then we shoved it in the corner on top of some pallets, and he'd set up lighting that made it look like the kind of prison window with the bars on. There was a light shining in at night, so I had a nice reflection of those on the wall, like a silhouette. And then that looked really good. And then we went to Full Sutton Prison, which is near here. It was just after Christmas Day. It would be like the day after Boxing Day, I think we went, so it was nice and quiet. And then we had it as if James had got out of prison and he was going back home. So that's another quite ambitious one that we've done. And then that was
you need to give us the links.
Pardon?
Send us the links and we'll put them in the video.
To the full series. So there's 7 so
send
far.
it and we'll put it in the
I've
videos.
just finished one more yesterday as well. But that series of 7's meant to be like a complete story with like a redemption arc in it, because he starts being a bit of a bad boy. It's all meant to be a little bit spoof, but it's not meant to be sort of hyper realistic film style. Obviously, you can't do that with a phone, so it's candid camera. We've sort of told a subtle narrative all the way through the 7 songs, and that creates an album basically.
Sick.
And it's sort of a bit cross between The Streets and People Do Nothing, and with a bit of classic Eminem and Dr. Dre type hip hop influence as well. So
mate, I can't wait. This is sick. It's so sick. It's right up mine and Jay's street as well.
Yeah, so that's quite a great fun project, and I've involved my other 2 friends, Matt and Casper, in that. So when we do live shows, we've done a load of classic hip hop and R&B type songs in pubs, and Matt and Casper have joined me on bass and drums. So Matt's my other very good classical guitarist and rock guitarist friend. And so he did bass. We tend to make a good little groove, pretty good fun.
So good. For anyone that's watching, where can they, if they want to find you and follow you, where are you? Like, what's your socials?
So I have Johnny_Greenwood_guitar_tuition for Instagram. I've got www.jwgreenwood.com that sort of has everything in. Johnny Greenwood Guitar, I think, is my YouTube channel, and then a JW Greenwood Facebook page as well. So I need to distinguish myself from Radiohead Johnny Greenwood, and I have had a few email requests for people wanting him for film scores and things. So I was rubbing my hands together at one that was like a story of the Irish Civil War and all the troubles beginning and the beginning of the IRA and stuff, which is hopefully coming out soon. But he wanted Johnny Greenwood from Radiohead, I'm afraid. But I did have a nice conversation with the kind of writer and director of that, which was cool. And he sent me loads of photographs from like real historic photographs from archives as well of the real characters. God. So.
And you...
mate, and honestly, you are just like a breath of fresh air. You really are. It's been so great talking to you. Well, the only question I've got left is, when are you coming down to teach me guitar?
I can do a Zoom lesson, or I can do a remote lesson. I can definitely get you working on. Yeah,
we're going to book it in. We're doing live, maybe, to give people a good laugh.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Can do that.
Thing as well.
Yeah, so I've got a new exciting project. I'm quite a big fan of an actor called Thomas Cook that's learning to be a director, and he's in some Hollywood films and stuff, and I speak to him through Cameo, and he's currently working at a place called Scheimflug, which is a big photography and film studio in New York, And on their Instagram channel, there was this guy called Dwayne that had turned up, and they were doing this cool 3D video that took 80 cameras around the room, and it was like a 3D video you can walk around. It's like, well, you feel like you can walk around, sorry. So it's like 4-dimensional, really. And that was really amazing. And I've been a big Bob Marley fan since I've been a kid, and loved the biopic that came out. And what Dwayne did was a theatre version of the story of Bob Marley called How Bob Marley Changed the World. And I sent him a message, and also sent a message to my friend Phil, who's been on tour with doing the Greek Odyssey series, with the first one being Orpheus, but as a kind of modernised spoken word and songs kind of show. Not entirely sure how to describe it, but Phil sings songs in between, and they've done progressively more ambitious with that. But he's been at lots of fringe festivals, and I mentioned how cool this video was and sent it to Phil over Instagram because he was on tour in Australia. And then I was like, oh yeah, me and Dwayne are friends. We've met at the Edinburgh Fringe and at Adelaide Fringe. So I messaged Dwayne as well, and entered into conversation with Dwayne quite a lot, and been liking all this stuff that he's been posting. So a really cool guy. I think he's grew up in Vancouver, and just a really smiley, happy, friendly person. And I've managed to wangle getting to play for him with my friends Matt and Casper as well, being his backup band. So hasn't happened yet. So we're just finalising playing at a show. So usually does it alone with an acoustic guitar, and he liked the idea of me coming up to play for him. So he's made that happen and spoken to his management and got us the gig, I believe. So we're going to be doing that in Windermere in September.
Wow.
Oh,
So that's going to be really cool.
You're so excited.
Yeah, so
It's amazing.
yeah, so just final thing is that I'm back working on my project that's kind of most close to my heart and close to my true sort of musical passions, which is a progressive metal album of my own that I started writing during music school. So inspired by Opeth, Dream Theater, Pink Floyd, Yes, various other things like that. So odd time signatures, kind of quite dark heavy metal, but ranging to sort of lighter style, and a kind of big collection of my influences. And I got up to a point where we were going to start performing this music just before the pandemic, and then the pandemic put the kibosh on that, just as we had a set of songs, but we were currently doing them as instrumentals. And since then I've been working with the other two people that I've mentioned already, Matt and Casper, doing a power trio, doing classic rock and things like Jimi Hendrix and Led Zeppelin, doing a few pub gigs and singing. So I've taken the plunge of singing for the project as well, and started writing lyrics for it and working through the songs again. And so tomorrow me and Casper are going to be doing the drum tracking for that. And I've also got, for the song that we're doing tomorrow, I have guest vocals from an old student of mine that's in a big up and coming band in Manchester. I can't remember the name of it offhand, I'd have to check. But he's called Edgar Langley, and he's a fantastic guitarist and bass player. And he plays bass for the band that he's in, and he can also do death metal growls, which is something I've wanted, and I've never really found that kind of style of singer. So I'm going to be doing the clean vocals, and then Edgar's done some remote recording for me and contributed the kind of the death metal voice for the heavier sections of this song that we're doing, which is probably the heaviest one of the songs we're doing. So excited to be back doing that, and hopefully I'll, by the end of the year, be able to start doing some gigs with that as well.
That's amazing. My daughter,
so sick.
That.
Yeah, so sick.
My daughter loves all that heavy metal growling and all that sort of music. She loves all of that. I hear her playing it. It's crazy. I don't know how they manage that voice.
I think it's a lot quieter than it sounds on. I think it's like partly mic technique and partly.
Oh yeah. That makes sense. That does make sense.
Mad.
So turning the mic up a lot and doing it quietly, because if you do it really loud, then you do strain your voice. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of technique involved.
Yeah.
So I'll stick to the light singing and not risk damaging my vocal cords.
Me too, girl. Me too.
Yeah.
I'll give it a go.
That's great.
Good. So, any other projects to talk about, or
What else do I do? Yeah, so I've also have a cover band called Rogue Covers, and we've been working on some new cover songs. So we've been using a place called Q Forum, which is like a Methodist church that has a fantastic stage in. And apparently it's the second biggest stage in York after the Barbican Centre, and it looks more like a theatre than a church. And so we've been using that, and I've been sound engineering for our next video demos for that, and we'll be putting together a show reel for that, hopefully doing some evening functions and wedding gigs and things with that. And we've got a cool gig on Saturday at Brew York's Osbaldwick site, which is the Handley Tap for the bank holiday weekend. So excited for that. So a 2-hour set between 2 and 4 in the afternoon.
that's amazing.
Oh my God,
Fantastic beer
amazing.
and like a craft ale place, which suits me to the ground.
Yeah.
So
That is nice.
Jane, do you fancy a little road trip?
Yeah, I love York.
I can do some road trips, yeah.
I love you. So nice up there. We went up there last year for a long weekend. It's lovely.
Oh, you doing some road trips?
Yeah.
Well, you're very welcome to come and visit
I
me
mean,
in
you
York
can come,
again.
but we were going to come down and see you.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. So York's great for live music as well. So it's got loads and loads of venues that do open mics and things.
Yeah.
Did used to have a better live music scene for bands, but there's still a couple of places yet left. So there's probably a couple of other places I can think of, and then loads of the bars do an open mic, and there's a good one called Kennedy's that does like a full band open mic, and you can turn up with your band and play. A couple of friends run. So that's more of like a kind of trendy bar type place. But that's really good on Thursdays. And then all the little pubs do your usual kind of acoustic guitar microphone setup as well. And there's the most pubs per square mile in York. So
good.
Great for live music and entertainment and pub crawls. So
Yeah.
That's it.
That sounds like Jack's heaven.
Yeah.
so come and do an open mic or two, and then
maybe
book a gig at Fulford Arms would be good. So
only if you're playing with me. The guitar.
Not like that.
Deal. I'll learn some of your songs, and we can do a show together at Fulford Arms if you can.
Oh man, I'd love it. Let's do it. We've got to plan this. We've got to plan it.
Sounds very good.
Brilliant. Perfect.
Oh, thanks so much, mate, for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been amazing.
Good to get to know you. You've got such a like fulfilled life, I think. Like there's a lot of people that dream to have the sort of projects that you're involved in. That's brilliant.
So good, mate. It's so good.
Hopefully it'll lead on to bigger things as well. Yeah.
Honestly, like it's been so good having you on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm so glad we connected with you.
Thank you.
Everyone's going to see a lot more of you around, even on the TVs and stuff. I think you're going to have a little breakthrough, and we're all going to know your name. Well, no, you're not the one.
Oh yeah, fingers crossed. Well, everyone already knows my name, but not for me. So I have to be Johnny W. Greenwood, so to not be mistaken from the guitarist in Radiohead. But...
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on, mate.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.